Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be talking about the 2018 to 2026 Uranus in Taurus transit part 2. And in this segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit's possible impact on Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Anyway, first thing up is, well, first off, as far as Aries goes, well, the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Aries. So at this time, well, Aries might experience perhaps some unusual perseverance and persistence regards to monetary matters, improving self-worth and their self-esteem. There might be some odd fluctuations connected with this as well. Now, also, too, for Aries, the way this could manifest perhaps is Taurus or Taurus-like, very loyal, steadfast, persistent friendships may impact the self-esteem and self-worth at this time, and also might even help Aries out monetarily. Now, also, too, Aries might be looking at a little bit more having freedom and independence financially, and really and being really the freedom to have whatever resources and possessions he or she may want. And also, this could be a lot of focus on the future monetarily for Aries as well. And really, in Taurus-like friendships, really perhaps even ones that may embody Taurus-like characteristics may help Aries in terms of prosperity at this time. At the same time, the way this could manifest as well for Aries, perhaps financial fluctuations and instability financially may impact possessions and resources. And also, too, and really in having the ability to have the freedom and independence in monetary matters, if Aries did not have this previously, could of course lead to the greater self-worth and self-esteem. Anyway, next up is as far as Taurus goes, well, Taurus, the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus, and Taurus might show more unusual persistence on a first impression, perhaps even more so than usual. And also, too, the way this could work out for Taurus, it could be Taurus-like friendships might really impact the outlook on life very strongly. And Taurus might be more inclined to make a change, perhaps even a radical one, in appearance. And especially if this is actually contacting the natal first house in a chart. And two, it could be people also using futuristic financial methods might contact Taurus at this time. And it's interesting because as many of you may know, I have Taurus rising, and recently somebody that is involved in a cryptocurrency had contacted me on Twitter and followed me, and I looked, and according to his birth date on there, he has his sun in Taurus, and it's actually a very close conjunction to my Taurus ascendant. So I'm almost seeing like a little bit of precursors and harbinger things to come, I think, already in connection with this Uranus and Taurus upcoming transit. Now, back to as far as how this could impact Taurus, again, I mean, you might be talking to maybe contact a person connected with cryptocurrency and somebody that works with Bitcoin. There might be a greater propensity for that. There you might come across as being more unpredictable, ingenious, and innovative at this time. Also, too, though, keep in mind that Uranus does rule electricity. There might be more of a propensity toward electric shock at this time, especially if this is hitting your actual ascendant, because of course the ascendant is connected with one's physical body. Remember, Taurus has the ability to stay grounded, so perhaps that might help out in this particular point in time. But I urge Taurus people to really be especially taking precautions more so than you usually have during this period if you're dealing with electrical equipment and anything that could potentially shock you at this time. Now, another thing too is that Taurus might experience more new beginnings associated with Uranus, like things such as computers, electronics, even innovation, esoteric subjects, and in order to generate money. Now, also too, Taurus might have more unanticipated, unpredictable, and spontaneous encounters from people from their early childhood at this time. So anyway. Well, next up is Gemini. Now, for Gemini, the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Gemini, well, Gemini might be dealing with more stable, enduring friendships that might help them deal with secret sorrows and might factor in more prominently in their private life than usual. And also, now I'm talking about very isolated cases, people that in some cases, this could be an unusual, spontaneous onset of some odd mental illness. It could be something Taurus related, such as connected with compulsive hoarding or something associated with possessions. And but at the same, I mean, of course, there generally are going to be other factors in the chart that may reaffirm this, such as transit Uranus making an adverse aspect to one's natal Mercury, or even the third house ruler, or something in the progress chart. This might help reinforce or reaffirm this. Now, also too, for Gemini at this time, this could even indicate in some cases headstrong, non-conforming, even bizarre behavior might lead to one's self-undoing at this time. There might be more disruptions, stubborn disruptions to sleep and dreams at this time, and they might be dreams of the unusual nature. And also, too, Taurus might be dealing with some obstinate, stubborn friends might impact the private life. They could actually be Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant people in some cases, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics. Now, also the way this could manifest for Gemini, this could be about dealing perhaps really, Gemini might feel more of an unusual need for solitude and seclusion. There might be a strong formulation of new monetary ideas that is done in privacy and solitude and seclusion at this time. Gemini may also feel that their freedom and independence might be prohibited and inhibited to some degree, perhaps at least somewhat attributed maybe to instability in their finances, in their monetary situation. And also, too, there may be unpredictable behavior from aunts and uncles that might be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics. And this, too, for Gemini, this could be about persistently emphasizing freedom in the private life to do really more what he or she wants to do privately. And also, it could be also about perhaps even loyal and steadfast humanitarianism, in order using those qualities to help others that are less fortunate than Gemini, such as the impoverished, the homeless, and the oppressed. Now, and also too, well, in some cases, I mean, Gemini can be somewhat flighty, and they're not known for really to be really, as far as stable in terms of love life out of all the signs. They're one of the ones that could be a little bit more fickle in the love department, so to speak. And this could be about really unpredictable, spontaneous, clandestine affairs and interludes for Gemini at this time. So anyway, getting to the zodiac sign Cancer. Well, for Cancer, the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Cancer, well, Cancer might be dealing with perhaps, I mean, this could be a very exceptional transit, because I consider this in its, you're talking about the accidental dignity, because of course Uranus is connected with Aquarius, and it does correspond with the 11th house in astrology. So for Cancer, this could be about meeting maybe some unusual Taurus-like acquaintances and friends, ones that might be very loyal, steadfast, and persistent. And it could be dealing with maybe expressing humanitarianism, stable and steady humanitarianism, and persistent humanitarianism in groups and organizations at this time, and in matters connected with friends and acquaintances. But at the same time, this could be some disruptions and financial instability may actually impact goals and aspirations for Cancer at this time. And it could be about expressing a steady and tenacious ingenuity, which of course could figure prominently in one's future. And also the expression of unique ways of generating money and income at this time. In doing so, maybe in collaborative group situations and with organizations or some kind of clubs. Now, also too, friendships may factor more into Cancer's future at this time than usual, and there could be a lot more unusual perseverance and persistence shown in attaining goals and aspirations at this time, and also steady, persistent ingenuity in friend and group scenarios. And Cancer might even experience friends and acquaintances that might be showing some kind of eccentric qualities at this time and ingenious like behavior at this time, which might surprise Cancer. So anyway, well, next sign up, Leo. Well, for Leo, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Now, for Leo, well, Leo could be dealing perhaps with unanticipated, unpredictable financial fluctuations that may impact the career and the vocation and livelihood for Leo. Leo might be experiencing perhaps unusual, obstinate, even stubborn behavior, maybe from authority figures and the dominant parent, which is often the father, or might even be expressing these qualities toward these people at this time. Now, also, too, Leo might be dealing with some maybe unorthodox or even bizarre values that might impact the reputation for Leo at this time and perhaps their public image. Now, at the same time, on one positive end, well, Leo might get involved in some kind of a Uranus-like field at this time. There might be a change in the vocation and livelihood for Leo, and it might be something connected with something Uranus-like, such as astrology, astronomy, aerospace, electronics, computers, or even innovation, and which of course could be leading to generating money and really it might even improve the financial acumen for Leo, and might even play a role in gaining more recognition and improving one's stature in life at this time as well. And Leo might also be apt more to gain maybe a reputation for having unique and unusual values, and that could impact, of course, reputation and the public image at this time. Also, perhaps the expression of unusual perseverance in one's career and reputation, and really one's career at this time. And it might be really trying to gain more recognition, and it could be by doing something unusual or very unique. Now, I think Leo too, the way I look at this, might be desiring more independence and freedom to pursue what he or she wants career-wise, and really and maybe there might be some expressions of humanitarianism with money, and really which might, of course, might positively help one's reputation and their image, their public image at this time as well, perhaps of being very selfless and a humanitarian. So anyway, last but not least, going to get to Virgo. Well, for Virgo, the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, well, Virgo might be dealing in some cases with some unanticipated, perhaps unpredictable situations with money that might figure prominently in their higher education, long distance traveling, and even publishing. And whether it helps positively or negatively, of course, could really be predicated and dependent on the aspects that this makes to other points in the chart at this time. I mean, let's say if it makes an adverse aspect to one's natal Venus or second house ruler, this could maybe affect Virgo adversely at this time and maybe not have the money to do the things associated with the ninth house. However, if it makes, say if it's making a positive aspect, making a sextile or trine to one's natal Venus or second house ruler, this could be about getting unanticipated monetary gains that might figure auspiciously in terms of ninth house matters such as publishing, higher education, and traveling abroad. So anyway, well, Virgo might also be dealing with perhaps unusual, bizarre, stubborn, obstinate in-laws, grandchildren of foreigners at this time. It could even be with people that they are connected to at some religious congregation or church. And also, too, this might be very spontaneous, unpredictable, long distance travel and journeys at this time to other countries, and perhaps learning strongly new currencies and which they may apply to making foreign purchases and transactions. Also, too, being Virgo might have more of a desire, like many of us during this time, perhaps, of this Uranus and Taurus transit, to want freedom and extricating oneself from financial restrictions and limitations. And at this time, if Virgo is able to do that, it could lead not, of course, to greater financial acumen, might be tied in with that, but it would be able to do things connected with the ninth house, and really such as embarking on that long distance journey, as I stated before, publishing, higher education, maybe able even helping out grandchildren and in-laws if applicable monetarily at this time if need be. So anyway, and also too, remember that the way this could manifest for Virgo is that they might be stubbornly sticking to some kind of unorthodox or unconventional philosophies, which of course may surprise a lot of people because Virgo is a sign, of course, that could be very conservative. Virgo, I mean, don't get me wrong, Virgo is a sign that could be very intellectual, analytical, but they're very pragmatic and they generally don't go so much outside the box. A lot of times I think Virgo would actually rather quote somebody's views on something rather than state them being their own, especially if they are somewhat eclectic or very unusual. But Virgo might have a little greater propensity at this time than usual to adopt an eclectic outlook or unusual, bizarre, what might seem as a bizarre outlook, which could be shocking to a lot of people at this time, and perhaps persistently and stubbornly sticking with it. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my take on Uranus and Taurus transit part 2. Stay tuned next time where I'm going to be talking about the 2018 to 2026 Uranus and Taurus transit part 3, and in that segment I'm going to be talking about how I think the transit may impact the zodiac signs Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.